Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm really glad you're taking a few moments to join today. As always, it's a collaboration in spirit with the animals and all of your energy. So I'm hoping as you come into the room that you just breathe for a minute and settle in and open your heart and make sure your spirit, do a checklist. Am I all here? Is my spirit here? Is my mind traveling somewhere else? Ground yourself in the room, take a look around and just name things. I see a lamp, I see the wall, I see the computer, whatever it is. Just bring your sweet spirits in and let's see what we uncover today. Hi, Marge. It's good to see you. And hi, Jenny from the UK. I hope the weather's there is good. It's been cloudy here and sun just broke through. So I thought that was a good sign for us. And Sharice, wonderful to see you and everybody. I love that. It's interesting because I think the subject that we're going to talk about today, that like the signs that you're healing, it's a big one. And I think it has stirred quite a bit of, I don't know, that the title of it has stirred a few emotions based on some of the responses I've seen. I'll share that with you in a minute. And Claire, good to see you. Always happy to be here in this sacred space you open for us all with the animals in spirit. And Deanna, good morning. And hi, Allison. I'm so happy you're here. I don't know. Obviously, you're here, and we're going to talk about the healing and the signs that we may be healing or not healing or whatever. But I think there's kind of a prerequisite for healing and kind of a requirement. Some of the comments I when people were commenting on Facebook were, I'm never going to heal, and they put all exclamation marks or all caps. I am not healing, won't ever heal. So it really strikes chord in us, and that speaks to, I wonder what we think healing is, right? Especially with animals. And Andrea, glad you could make it. And Dara, good to see you. Or is it Gara? Sorry, I was misreading that. Hello. So as we talk about this going forward today, I want you to think about this all the way through. So healing really requires an attitude of openness, and more importantly, you got to want to heal, the willingness to heal. You would think we all want to heal, but that's not the case. And if we think of the different types of healing, like the physical healing, we can visibly see that, right? And we see things, the progress. I think the emotional healing is harder to spot, harder to gauge, really tender. It can be really tender. Hello, Cindy. I'm glad you're here. Andrea, yes, it's still hard. I feel so tired of this pain. I'm trying to be positive so much. I love that you brought that up, Andrea, because somebody else wrote in on my YouTube channel that they were so tired of feeling this way, and they weren't sure they could shift grief into connection, but they're ready to try. And so, it really, and I'm getting all over body chills. So that spirit stepping in here, and something that I need to share with you all, is we have to be kind of open, and our hearts have to be ready to see what that healing means. So as we go through this today, be thinking about that. Have you ever not wanted to heal because you were afraid of what it meant? Have you ever wanted to heal so much that you didn't feel like you ever could? So, it's something that as we unpack this, you're going to get to take the pulse of where you are. So first, I want to talk about, healing. So it's not a destination. it's a journey. It's a step by step by step process. And if any of it, all of us have had to heal for something, right? So even in physical healing, it's steps of healing and graduations and degrees. Um, the process is your heart learning how to hold love and loss at the same time. That's healing. Did you know in grief you're healing? I know grief doesn't feel like healing, but it is. Healing has definitely begun. And, I always say this, we ask for healing, but healing can hurt. Healing physically hurts. It's not easy, but it takes us through our soul's growth that we wouldn't have the opportunity if we hadn't gone through it. So just be thinking about that. It's a kind of a gradual softening of the pain into maybe a tender spot. Maybe it's finding meaning and connection again in your life. And, maybe it's starting to shift your perspective a little bit to see that your love is becoming that source of strength rather than just the absolute sorrow. So, what is healing not? It's not a straight line, just like I said. It's a journey, and it's not a ABCD. You maybe go A, C, come back to A. I mean, it's all over the map, and everybody's different. So it's not also forgetting or getting over your pet. I mean, have any of you thought that? Have any of you struggled with healing emotionally? That's a better question. I'd love to hear in the comments. Have you ever struggled with it? And if so, what was the struggle? What was it about? Healing's not about forcing yourself to be ready before you feel like you are. Janet says, I never thought the extreme grief would ever go away, but it did after time. It sure doesn't mean I don't still miss her. Yeah, because you're holding both, right? You're holding the loss and the love at the same time. And life is not an either or. And we're so used to, coming up with answers. It's either this or it's that. But it's not. Life and truth and love hold it all. So, it doesn't erase the bond you shared. You still hold that very closely. And, Janet, when you said, it did after some time, I'm curious, how did you know it did? What told you that it was lessening? I think that would be helpful for all of us. So it's not pretending you're fine when, you're still hurting. I had this encounter with somebody, it was several months ago, and she had been grieving for quite some time, and a deep grief for a long, long time over the loss of her pet. And she ended up going somewhere, and they took video of her, and she showed me the video. And in the video, I watched her laughing, and I watched her smiling, and I watched her engaging with life. And my heart just lifted seeing that. And so next time I saw her, I thanked her for the video and thanked her for sharing that, because it was so uplifting. And I was like, I'm so glad to see that you're finally feeling a little happiness and maybe healing a bit. Oh my goodness. It was if I had just shot her with something, because she looked at me, her expression changed. She was smiling before, and she said, I'm not healing. She was really, really angry. It really triggered this amount of, I'm not healing, I'm never going to heal, and don't tell me I'm happy. So I was like, alrighty then. And I understood. That's pain talking. I do. I get that. But that also speaks to where we resist. And why do we? Why do we resist the healing? Jenny says, my fear was that healing meant that my love was waning. Did you find that to be true? Because we tell ourselves all the time things that aren't true. Our thoughts aren't true, but we believe them. And Donna says, it's been almost 2 years since my boy passed. You're moving fast. No better for me. 17 years together. That's a beautiful life. Still upset with myself for having him put down. I'll never get over that. there's a lot we could unpack here with that, and I understand that. But I know animals don't want us to sit in the space of how they left, when they left, because that's kind of putting that one moment more important than the life they shared with us. So just be thinking about that. Susan says, feeling the intense grief in my solar plexus ripping me open has turned to a very heavy sadness in my chest, which is progress. See, gosh, y'all are so like intuitive in the tracking of your body. We actually are so aware, but unless we stop like we're doing today to kind of unpack a little bit of this, we just rush through life. We don't actually take a look at it. And it's when we take a look at our feelings that we can actually get to know them a little better. Jenny said, actually, it turned out not to be true at all. And I'm wondering where we picked up the beliefs like that. It's almost like it's just a foregone conclusion that that's what that means. If you're healing, then you're leaving them, or you don't care. So yeah, you all have your journeys, and as I'm seeing from your comments, Elizabeth said, it's so hard when you miss your baby so much. My heart hurts so much. I don't know what to do anymore, and I wasn't ready to let him go. I don't know that we're ever ready. I totally get that piece. We're never ready. And at the same time, the heartache that you feel, what I'm wanting to ask you to do is to drop into that and see if you can also, amongst the heartache, feel the love that your pet has for you, because that connection is still very present. But when we're grieving, it eclipses everything. It's like the loudest voice in the room, and we feel like it's gone forever. So I invite you to try that. That should help quite a bit. And Mariah's mom, I didn't feel like crying anymore just a week after my old girl died, but I had a few years of a lot of anticipatory grief for her. I couldn't explain it. I just didn't feel like crying. We all have our different, what word would I use? Rhythms and pace for our emotions and the energy around that. So just knowing that it's no judgment, just that's what it was. And let's see, is it Pain Spices? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I lost my darling Kika 6 weeks ago. I'm so sorry. And it's so new. Yes, it's fresh and raw. Intense heartache and buckets of tears every day. Even in that journey after, where we feel like everything's, I don't know about you, like everything's moving in slow motion, and we're like trying to run underwater. You know how slow that is, and there's so much resistance. It slows grief and loss, death. They slow everything down. And that's not all bad, because it's in the slowing down that we actually get to open up and feel and see. I love that. Gingerbread. Thank you for that. So what does healing mean to you? We've been stirring around a little bit of what it isn't, and what it looks like. What does it mean for you? I'm curious. And when you've healed in other ways in life, how's that looked for you? Because it's important that we tag into those places that we heal, because we're going to have to heal again. So it's almost like we need to know what that felt like to remind ourselves. I'm glad. It does hurt. We're not here to take hurt away, for sure, as if we could do it, but there is some kind of, I don't know, some journey in walking with grief and walking with our pain, and letting everything to unfold and evolve. So again, what does healing mean? I'll give you a few things that I think. And Janet, I think you would agree with this. It means you begin to re-engage in life, maybe carrying your pet's memory in your heart and forward in a different way. And Susan, you just wrote me this most beautiful email, so thank you for that. And in there, if you don't mind me sharing, she commented on feeling love in her heart again. You know, that's what we're missing. We feel that that's gone. And my road with my animals, my own healing journey, my own grief with the many, many losses, and what they've taught me is we still have it. It's still accessible. And yes, the pain's there, but there's this whole other area that we haven't even tapped. Again, whatever your relationship to loss is, whatever you've grown up thinking about loss, how you respond to it, what your family did, maybe what you've been taught, we all have a relationship with loss without realizing we do. Do we turn our backs? Do we act like it's not there? Do we, kind of go into a pit? Everybody's different, and maybe we do all of it at the same time. Jenny says, I still have moments when grief hits me like a steamroller. I like that analogy. That's really accurate. Flattens us. It's been 20 months, but in the most part, the memories are joyful, and I feel the connection with Winnie is stronger. And that can continue. In fact, that is what's meant to happen. It's healing alchemy. And again, we're not taught that. We're taught the end is the end and I have to move on. And no, you as I talked last time, you say hello again and we create this new path forward. And I don't know about you, but when my animals have passed, the deepest longing I had was for connection. And I was going to find out how to do that. So, how deeply is your, I guess, intention? And what is it you're really hoping for? Shri says, there seems to be an emotional void for me. And that's natural. I get that too. It's like we're in a new land. We don't quite know where we are. We don't know where to step. We've lost our identity. What else? I mean, some of the things that you all have felt. And Mariah says, I've had to redefine my life, like who I am. That's that identity piece I'm talking about. And what is my new life ahead without my friend of 18 years? They teach us how to live with them. They don't teach us how to live without them, right? So we have to learn new steps. We have to learn. It's not that we have to learn a new language. We had the language with them when we were here. We just relied on their physical body. But the language that, especially after they pass, why we feel it's new is actually we're being trained to access a deeper part of ourselves that we may not have even realized. We were connecting with their essence. We were connecting with who they truly were. They could see us. We could see them. And, at the end of a life, I still go to, we want to know that we mattered. We want to know that we were of value, right? And we want to be seen. We want to know we were seen. So all of those things are tied up into this. Have we lost all of that? Susan says, the pain lingers more than when I faced other grief in my life, but I do feel my cat Jay beside me in my sadness. He has stayed with me through this stage, and they will. They absolutely will. And if you are, feeling more pain than you have ever felt, that also speaks to tremendous soul growth that you're in. When they pass and go through that portal, we do too. It's forced soul growth, whether we want to or not, we go straight through it. How many of you are able to hold the gratitude as well as the grief right now? Especially if you're freshly in grief, or is it just eclipsing everything? Which I know I've certainly not been able to access the gratitude just at certain times, just because the grief was so loud. Allison says we were being trained to access a deeper part of ourselves. Yes, yes, you were. You just didn't realize it. And now the connection is, and then the depth that is available to you with your pet and your animal, your beloved, is even greater. I promise you it is, or you wouldn't be here. And this is what the animals are ushering us into, this new way of communion with them. We're all being taught. It's not just they were here in our lives, it was fun, they brought us joy, they left. No, this was a soul appointment they had with you. It still is. And it's rather than expecting them to come back to our level, guess what? We have to up level and upgrade to theirs. And once you can make those incremental steps to move forward, everything changes. You shift, and all the things you thought before have unhooked, and they don't even hold that kind of energy weight for you. Some of you are sharing, Claire says, healing is not a lone path, but one walked with my girls side by side. Beautiful. Sometimes I think we can feel it's a lone path, though, right? We can feel really alone in our healing. Sheree says, I do hold gratitude. I write him daily and thank him. This is really, really, really good. You all, the animals are leading us straight to this piece that gratitude is like, it's a secret key that opens up what's already there, but what's maybe hidden behind the door of our emotions. Mariah says, yes, I am holding so much gratitude in my grief. It's interesting they both start with G, isn't it? The gifts and lessons my beloved Marcy brought me are so profound, and I'm so grateful. Have you shared that? Have you written it down? Have you talked to Marcy? And I'm all about the gifts and really understanding what they taught me, like giving me the gift of, like, if whatever you noticed in your animal. I'm going to use Katie because Katie always comes to mind because she's like front and center here today. I always noticed she was super independent, and she didn't make apologies for anything she felt. And being somewhat at times of a people pleaser, I really admired that in her. She showed me how to work with that, and she exampled it to me. Marge, losing Isla was so traumatic and ridden with guilt that I couldn't fix her, and it wasn't your job to fix her. That's just the mind, but I get it. And did I do the right thing sending her to the bridge? I couldn't even talk about her without crying. It's been 2 years since she's been gone. I realize that she comes more to me now that my grief has become less. I still miss her, but remember more the things I love so much about her. The way she'd wiggle and roll in the grass. She's missed but loved. It's beautiful. I still say it's a privilege to miss. What if you could go all your life and not ever miss anybody? Really? That would speak to the lack of depth you had with them. So when we're missing it, just realize, I'm so glad. I know this sounds really weird. I'm so glad I have the opportunity to miss you because you meant so much to me. Oh, I love the way all of you are opening up here. Carol says, I still get emotional. It's been 3 months ago since Clark's passing. And again, we're not here to disregard our emotions. And on the contrary, we're going to bring them along with us. And they're already coming anyway, right? So we might as well acknowledge them in the room to walk with us in this journey. So, healing can also mean, you're open to a few new connections, or you start noticing, I don't know, the world gets a little brighter than it used to. Maybe you have experiences without guilt. Jennifer, I love your question. Tammy, do our pets choose their passing? that's a very interesting, yes, they do have a part in their passing, absolutely. And I had several teach it to me. And the first time I did, I was shocked in realizing, because I had taken responsibility. I mean, full blown, it was terrible. And then this dog came in after I could finally connect and corrected my perception. She chose the way she went out as a warrior. And I remember it shocked me. I was like, wait a minute, let's back this one up. Does that mean that we aren't to blame for all this? We aren't in control of your soul path? Surprise, surprise. Yes, I'm really glad you asked that. They do have a part on a soul level with their passing. Oh, Susan, if I did not miss you, I would have never had you, Jay. You're going to make me cry. Never would I give up all you taught me and gave. Yes, yes, yes. I love all this. So where are you on the scale today? You know, are you honoring your grief? Are you honoring your healing? What does that look like for you today? And Kara says, when I got Stetson, I knew he was a senior and time would be limited. He was such a good boy that Tank sent to me. I lost him a few months back. It still hurts bad. He got me through some rough patches. He's my very best friend. And I knew there was some okay, I'm missing this. Hang on. Oh, you're going away. Hang on. Oh, and boy, did I love him. I lost my husband 2 weeks ago, and I want Stets. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. I can still hear him walking in the living room, his footsteps, his tags. I briefly will see something in the corner. My husband's Frenchie and him were connected, and she will sometimes step in and stare at the ceiling. Oh, the grief is still very alive, but I believe he is still here with me, and I feel his presence. Oh, Kara, that is, it's so, we hold you together, so poignant and so tender, and you are in that tender, deeply, deeply tender space of loss. And to be able to share that and write it and, be vulnerable is a true heart that will never be closed. So thank you for sharing that. So I want to know, do you want to heal? Do you feel like you're ready for it? And then what would healing look like for you? It's more peace. Is it more joy? Is it presence? What would change? And I want to ask you something before we go into, I've got a little, as usual, a journey to take you on with some questions. What would you need to release in order to heal? We hang on to things. And we hang on to the pieces that keep us from healing. What would you need to release? Do you have perfection pictures? It should have happened this way. I did something wrong. I know I'm certainly guilty of having that at times. Regrets, shoulds, right? What do we have to let go of those things in order to make room for the healing. Yes. And more meaning. More meaning. We want more meaning. That's beautiful. So just be thinking about this as we go through a little bit more in the time together. Are you holding on really tightly to guilt, sorrow? What are you holding on to? Because what we're holding on to is are the parts that are keeping us from kind of stepping forward. And it's okay. It's okay to hold on, just to bring it into the room. So whether you're in like the survival stage, and Kara, you've got to be in the survival stage after loss and the tenderness stage. There's so many stages that, way before we can ever get to the integration stage, and that may come years later and not all at once. I'd have to let go of anger, resentment, guilt, unrealistic expectations, perfection pictures, right? And you can work with those and just acknowledge they're here. I love that you're like owning it. Well, that's what I'd have to let go of. I get it. Um, oh, Barbara, I'm afraid my boy Blue will leave my side once he knows I'm healed. Not true at all. Absolutely not true. Healing is inclusive. Healing's not. It doesn't exclude anything. I promise you. Healing's gotten a bad rap, I think, and we have all these misconceptions about healing and what it means, and sort of like the forgiveness piece. If I forgive myself, then that means start catching your thoughts and what your beliefs are and what you are thinking, and just stop a minute and say, is that really true? Because if we don't, then they have sort of an energy and a momentum all their own, and they just keep rolling right along. And Kara says, yes, I'm still in the shock stage. That's soul shock. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it requires such a tenderness, right, with ourselves, that support, reaching out for support and healing, healing hands really is what I'm hearing is the best thing we can do. Because when we're hurting that badly, we're a long way from integrating it, and we're a long way from connecting with it. And a real long way probably from the expansion stage where we carry that forward and we find meaning and joy. So just be gentle with wherever you all are, as I see that, you're telling me, Elizabeth, guilt and regrets that I could have done more. And the truth is, we did the best we could at the time. And I look back to several situations with me, and I realize when I'm telling the story about what happened, for instance, I'm leaving myself out of the equation. But when I see what the character Tammy was doing in it, I'm going to use this specific instance with the dog who was a warrior. I saw how Tammy, the character, was compassionate and caring, getting blankets, talking to her. I was able to see myself in the role that I was performing, and I showed up for my role. And then I realized my role wasn't to save her. If I could have, I would have. And I can guarantee you, if I had known it would happen ahead of time, I'd have blocked it from happening. Just have to be careful about stepping into another soul path. That's a whole nother time together and topic. Kara says, in the part of being real that's hard to grasp, I still talk to both Mike and Stetson. Yes, because their energy is not gone. They're not gone. And it's changed forms. It's like we shapeshift, our energy shapeshifts. Kara says, healing for me was obvious when I could smile and even laugh about the good times we shared without feeling the extreme pain. The memories keep her close to my heart. She still makes me smile. That's Cindy, sorry. Yes, I love that. And you know that our memories are energetic segues to spirit. They're really openings, they're gateways. We don't realize they are, because sometimes they come and we're like, whoa, that memory was hard to hear or hard to remember. But that's actually, you're getting pinged from spirit. So pay attention when you do. Kara says she gets signs from them both. They're both watching over. Yes, they are. And they're here with us today. I'm so glad you're here. I know all of us are we're opening a big portal. So be thinking as you get your little journals out and you get ready, because you know what's going to happen next. Healing, I'll give you some prompts. Like, healing is what for you right now? It may be just surviving the moment. And then for yourself, healing happens when I what? When I what? What will for you? So I want to take you through kind of a journey, and I have some slides for you to take a look at. So if those could go up. There we go. So remember I talked about it wasn't a destination, it's a pathway. So let's start thinking about it like that. And unfold step by step. Uh, Picture yourself on the pathway wherever you are today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday or what you're going to do in a year. Just consider where you are today. So I'm going to ask you to be like tuning in to some reflective things. So if we could go to the next slide, that'd be great. So if you look at this, I'm calling them like healing pathway domains that represent your journey. And I wanted you to just consider, from 1 to 5 points where you are as I'm reading through these things on the path, that you're just beginning, it's overwhelming, 3 would be you're midway, you still got a long way to go, you're still very tender. 5 would be, you're walking with strength and the healing is integrated and your pet's love feels alive and within you. So there's a spectrum. Remember that it is a spectrum. So this isn't a right or wrong in case any of you have a tendency to go that direction. So now that we understand kind of the format, let's take a look at some of these aspects. So pathway domain 1, emotional healing. The tears shift from devastation to tenderness. The grief waves feel maybe gentler. Memories carry both sadness and love. Guilt lessens. You allow yourself joy. I love that you're already tuning in. Where are you on the emotional pathway from devastation to tenderness? Some of you are in 1 still. It's just, it's just good to call it out and say, this is where I am. I own it. I feel it. And I don't know what the next step is. And Susan, you're in the middle. It's interesting how we can gauge that too, energetically. What about the rest of you? Are you a 1, a 3? Are you, Janet, are you on the 5-point area? Where are you in your journey? And this is probably a good practice for you to do anyway in life. So let's keep going with this. A lot of you are in 1s. That's okay. That's why you're here. That's why we're together. So as you think forward, when was the last time your tears carried love as well as sadness? And 2, can you recall a moment when a memory of your pet made you smile instead of only ache? And I think I just saw Susan say something like that. Some of you are in 5s. Some of you are 3, middle of the way. And sometimes we can step a little back. So don't feel like if you step back in 1 a little bit or 2, whatever, that you failed. You haven't. 1, Barb says, is 6 weeks. 3, not in 2. Okay. Marriott, I've moved from devastation. What I don't know if it's okay to love again. Right. It is, but we'll work on that. So let's go to the next one. Domain 2, mental shifts. Your thought shifts from what if to what thank yous. Regret softens, gratitude grows. You remember your pet's life more than their death. Remember, they don't want us to keep them frozen at that last moment. Stop that. Painful reminders no longer dominate. So the scale on this one, on the mental shifts, what we are working on, where are you on what I just read? We're having a little slide trouble today. There you go. Where are you on the mental pathway? Just beginning? Grief's still overwhelming. Signs of midway, signs of healing are emerging, or walking with strength. Mental pathway, where are you? 1, yes, it's only been 3 weeks. Yep. Yes, Kara, it's hard to know what the next step is. When you're devastated, it's hard to see the sunshine. It's right. It is. It absolutely is. And I love that you are holding on to, but it will one day. Claire says 5. Okay. Mental pathway. Let's go to the next one if we can. Hopefully it'll cooperate with us. It's being a little like argumentative. So reflective questions for you. What's one memory of your pet that brings you gratitude today? Just one. And if you wrote a thank you note to your pet, what would it say? What would it say? Would it say a lot of things? And maybe you write more than one. I'm all for that because your energy shifts from, day to day, week to week, and spirit will drop in more things for you. These questions are designed, they're actually energetic openers. They look like regular questions, I know, but they are time release questions. And as you read into them and feel them, it will maybe even later drop in for you. Tears don't come too much. Is that okay? Yes, absolutely. Where is it a requirement that we have to have the tears all the time? And those tears represent, what do they mean? That might be a good thing for you to journal on too. My tears mean, and if I don't have them, that's what it means. And Mariette, gratitude for the companionship for 17 whole years. And I was thinking today, they can't hang around forever, even though we expect them to. So we've got to do our part. We've got to do our part. And, kind of raise just the least little bit that we can. The beauty of her consciousness, her essence, so beautiful. You all are such wonderful writers accessing your emotions. Beautifully said. And you could probably even journal on that a little bit more. I like that one. So let's go to the next one. Pathway 3, heart and relationship. You sense your pet's love in new ways. You realize the bond continues, transformed. You feel open to new relationships without guilt. Avoidance shifts to gentle engagement. So think about that for a minute. Where do you fall on that? I love that you're sending, Spirit is like wanting me to point out that as you comment, you're actually connecting to Spirit, and you're connecting all of us to Spirit. So I love you are connecting directly with your animal every time you comment and you bring up these things of gratitude. I'm just like, you can't write this stuff. I love it. So where are you on the heart pathway from loss to renewed connection? And it's okay if you're not that far along it. Elizabeth says, just my cat being there for me for 5 years, even though I wanted him to live a lot longer. I know, right? Thankful so much that you were with me. I had a little 4-month-old puppy that passed, and that certainly wasn't easy. And at the same time, in that 4 months, what a tremendous growth and gifts and love. And some of you are saying, I feel so empty, Andrea, sometimes. It's okay. But there's other things there as well, other than the emptiness, I promise you. It's just that's what you're focusing on. So what the animals here are trying to help us do is redirect to what's true, what's really true. Oh, well, you're helping me as much as I'm helping you. So this is a very organic journey we are on right now. So let's go to the next one. These are your reflective time release questions. Have you noticed any signs or moments that remind you your pet is still with you? Have you? And how would it feel to fully trust that your bond is ongoing? Oh my gosh, the animals work so hard at getting our attention to let us know, hadn't gone anywhere. This bond, this connection still here. You're the one that's moved out of the room. Can you please come back in? Gara says, thank you, Coco, for 16 and a half happy and beautiful years. I just felt, I'm getting all over body chills, and I just felt a significant shift of energy with that. I feel her presence every day and get tons of signs. I'm blessed, even though I still feel heartbroken. Yes, our hearts actually expand even more. I know a broken heart doesn't sound like it does, doesn't make sense. We're not taught that, but I promise you, our hearts have the capacity to grow even more, especially when our hearts are broken open. Kara, I know the bond is still going. I feel it and I hear him. And that will continue. That will absolutely continue. Oh, Charisse, he gave me overwhelming love like I gave him. I love the all caps because it's like you're shouting it. You're like this horn, you're announcing it. And right before our time together, I had the thought, we are always asking them for signs. We're always asking them to show up. We got to show up. How are we showing up? And Susan says, Jay shows me every day he is still here. He is absolutely still here and with us right now. Thank you for a beautiful 14 years. Oh my goodness. Marriott, definitely Chloe was the only one who showed me that she's still there. Not even family members or other pets did that. And, that probably speaks to the openings you've had as well, the growth you've had in order for that to come in. Marge says, I'm open and waiting for Isla to direct me to my next doxy. And that animal network thing is a real thing. She really will. And ask for her help in that, because you're in that kind of, I think I'm ready. Please guide me. Please help me. Getting all over body chills. So she's on it. Elizabeth says, I feel his presence, but I'm not sure if it's just in my head. It's not. It is not, because the difference is, in the first part, I'm feeling his presence. That second, I'm not sure if, is a thought. It's a thinking. Get out of your head and stay in your heart. And last night I felt his cold nose nudge in my arm. I need more signs though. Hey, you really the pathway to signs is to be so appreciative of the ones you get. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Because a cold nose nudge, come on, that's pretty intimate. It's pretty distinct. It's a custom sign just for you. And Barbara says, I feel his presence, but I sometimes still doubt my intuition. All right. So, okay, I know. And we will all do that, but you're here and I will work with you on that, because all of you all have you're exquisitely attuned. So why do you doubt? Why do you not trust your heart? So I'm not sure. Do we have another one? Because I want to add something else I want to do with you. All right. So I might have to scurry through a little bit. Domain number 4, daily life and living, appetite, energy, sleep return, joy and laughter reappear. I know a lot of you are not here. Routines feel manageable again. You re-engage with activities. It's like, Kara said, the sun will shine one day. It's okay for not being here, but just know that eventually those things will come back through. And so if we go to the next slide, where'd you fall on that one? From depletion to renewed vitality. And just notice, no judgment here. And then the reflective questions. If we go to those, the 2 that I want you to kind of be thinking about as you go forward. And while we're waiting on that slide, Elizabeth says, yes, I was so happy and thanked him for coming to his mama and finally smiled after a few days. When I stay, and Jenny says, when I stay present, that's when I feel when he's energy. Pay attention right now to, are you present? Are all of you present? I kind of feel like you are. So reflective questions for that one. What's one thing you've started enjoying again that grief had taken away? Or Kara, since you're really knee deep in it, what has grief taken away? That's the other side of it. What has grief removed? What did it rob me of? What has it robbed me of? Kara said, it's hard to trust your heart when you've loved and lost so many. Yes. And we're not guaranteed in life not to lose either. So it's kind of like, and I bet it's interesting you're bringing this up, because there was a book I was going to mention to you all, and I'm going to do it right here. It gets harder with the passing of each one to want to open your heart again. I'm actually going to do another live on that, and we're going to talk about that going forward. But there's a book out there called The 5 Regrets of the Dying, and it's a really good book if you get a chance to, look at it. But it details this lady was a hospice nurse, and she noticed with her patients that she was seeing them saying the same things. I didn't bring it in here, and it would take me too long to run and get it. But I know one of them was, I wish I had spent more time with my friends. I wish I hadn't worked so much. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Kara, is because you kind of stimulated it in me, is you're never going to get to the end of your life and wish, oh, I'm really glad I didn't open my heart again. You won't say that. If you close your heart and it remains closed, then you've cut yourself off. And you won't at the end of your life look back and wish you had. I would be really glad you'd done that. I promise you that. So thank you for helping me remember that. Yes, Claire, it is a beautiful book. It's very, very life-changing. You get a chance to read it. Oh, I'm so glad. 5, the spiritual and the soul level piece. Trust in divine timing grows. You feel guided, not abandoned. You honor your pet's legacy in your life. Some of you are already doing that now. The relationship becomes an internal, soulful presence. And what I'm here in my life's journey to help with the animals, to help you understand that and really, these animals didn't come into your life for no reason. They were here as part of your own soul path and your soul growth. It was a soul appointment. And with that, when they pass, we get to really take a look at what that meant. The name of the book is The 5 Regrets of the Dying. I can't remember the author right now. Yes, very, very powerful book. It really gets you thinking. So let's go to, do we have another slide on this one? So again, where are you on the scale? From feeling lost to feeling guided and connected. Maybe, good, Jenny. And maybe what we're doing here today is helping each other, kind of like a link together that we can, go through and hold each other's hands. And we're making progress. It just seems like it's slow sometimes, but that's okay. Let's do that last slide, please, where the reflective questions. What's the one way you felt spiritually supported since your pet's passing? No, it's how are you honoring your pet's legacy of love today? So, just here, what you did? You honored them by putting them in the comments and saying, thank you. Thank you for what you gave me. Thank you for the 17 years. Thank you. You've done that part already. So you're already connected. No, it is not Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. It's Bronnie Ware, just came to me. Bronnie. I want to say it's Ware. The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And again, it's just, life is short and our time together is precious. And so with your animals, let's start really looking at how they can help us heal during all of our journeys. And what we can give back to them at this point. So I've got something I want to share with you. I've got a healing bundle Why? Because I'm pretty sure we all need it, right? And if you scan that code, it'll give you access to that healing bundle. And there's a precious little meditation in there that Spirit gave me called the Smile Bank. Now, I kind of got you started on that today without realizing that's what we were doing, by you honoring your beautiful animals here. We've already created a smile bank. I'm so appreciative of the energy that you bring here, and your courage and your vulnerability. And please feel free to download that. It's yours to keep. It's yours to share if you feel like somebody needs it. And I've enjoyed my time here today with you, and I appreciate everything that you've shared as well. And I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like the energy that we have just created has shifted into some kind of opening, some kind of healing opening for all of us. So thank you. And let's keep up the good work and the beautiful work that the animals are guiding us to. Oh, Anodyne, this is so sweet, simple but beautiful. Yes. Oh, thank you for it. Keep saying thank you. Those are the magic words. Thank you, thank you. It opens up. It's a huge portal. Jacqueline, oh, I love that. Thank you for the 10 years of love. Keep that gratitude going, and let's keep the conversation going. I can't wait to see what we end up talking about next. So I will see you next time. Thank you for joining, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.